Hey guys, since I am out, I wanted to expand a little bit on what you learned in video 30. In particular, I want to give you a review of factoring. So let's look at a couple of problems where factoring is involved. And as we go through them, I'm going to remind you a couple of things about how to factor. So let's start out looking at 3x squared minus 9x equals 84. Okay, so our first step is we need to get everything to one side. (84 = 0). When you factor, always first thing, look to see if you have a GCF, because if you have a GCF, your life gets easier. And here we do. I can factor out a 3, and that gives me x squared minus 3x minus 28. Okay, so with this 3 out in front, I can now factor this, and forget about the 3 out in front. And this is a trinomial, 3 terms, where the leading coefficient is 1. This is a 1x squared. And if you remember, when you factor a trinomial with the leading coefficient is 1, you want to find the multiples or the factors of this number that add up to this number. Okay, remember that this is a diamond puzzle where I want two numbers that multiply to be negative 28 and add up to be negative 3. And in that case, that is negative 7 and positive 4. So this is what I use in my factors. My factors are x minus 7 and x plus 4 with a 3 out in front. Now, if you remember, from here we break each of these factors up into little problems and solve each one. Because if any one of these is 0, then the whole thing is 0. So here either x plus 7, or I'm sorry, x minus 7 could be 0. X plus 4 could be 0. I don't worry about the 3 because the 3 is never going to be 0 because it's 3. If your GCF has a variable in it, it doesn't figure into your answer. If it does have a variable in it, like let's pretend that this is a 3x, then one of your answers is going to be 0. Okay, so here x could be 7, here x could be negative 4, and those are my two answers. Okay, but this example shows you what you do when you have a GCF and then having a leading coefficient of 1, you can do a diamond puzzle. So let's look at something a little different here. Let's look at 6x squared equals 28 minus 13x. Okay, now once again I need to get everything to one side. I'm going to add 13x to both sides. I'm going to subtract 28 from both sides because I need to equal 0. I have 6x squared plus 13x minus 28 equals 0. I don't have a GCF here. I don't. So this is a situation where the leading coefficient is not 1, and I cannot just do a diamond puzzle. I need to either do rewrite, the box method, or the number game. I'm going to very quickly show you rewrite and the number game. If you want to review the box method, look at alternate video 11. I'm sorry, alternate video 11 in the playlist for this class. Okay. Both rewrite and the number game, but especially rewrite, rely on you doing first times last. Okay, so 6 times negative 28, and I'm just going to get a calculator here. So 6 times, negative 28 is negative 168. So I need 2 factors of negative 168 that add up to 13x. And you just kind of go through your choices one at a time. Now, because this is negative, my signs are going to be different, and it might be more helpful to think about subtracting to 13 or being 13 apart. Okay, 1 and 168, absolutely not. Now, if I divide 168 with 2, I get 84, and that is still too far. Now 168 is actually divisible by 3. So 168 divided by 3 is 56. 3 and 56. No. 168 divided by 4 is 42. We are getting closer, but these are not 13 apart. Now, because 2 and 3 work, 6 is going to work. 168 divided by 6 is 28. 6 and 28. Those are 22 apart. That's an improvement, but it's still too far. I don't think 7 works. 168 divided by 7 is 7 and 24. Huh. Well, that caught me off guard. Those are not 13 apart. Okay, how about 8? 168 divided by 8. There we go. 8 and 21 are 13 apart. Specifically, positive 21 and negative 8. Now, if you are doing rewrite, you use these 2 factors here, these 2 factors to rewrite the middle. So we do 6x squared minus 8x plus 21x minus 28. You then make 2 groups. You factor what you can from the first group. Here that would be 2 and an x. I'm left with x, I'm sorry, not x, 3x. 3x minus 4. Here I can take out a 7, and I'm left with 3x minus 4. 3x minus 4 then becomes another common factor that I can take out. 3x minus 4, and what's left is my other factor, 2x plus 7. Okay, that's how you factor doing rewrite. The box method does the same thing, but instead of rewriting the middle, you set up your factors in a box. The first goes in the upper left, box. The last term goes in the lower right box, and the remaining two boxes are basically you rewriting the middle, but with those 2 numbers that you found. And then you take GCFs up and over. Look at video 11 for more review. Okay. Now, if you are doing the number game, all of this, I'm going to scroll a little bit here. All of this is still the same. The only difference is in the number game, you're trying to work the FOIL in reverse. So I need two factors of 6x squared and 2 factors of negative 28. It's getting a little crowded. Let me adjust this. Get rid of the box method here. Give me a little more room. 2 factors of 6x squared, 2 factors of negative 28, that when I multiply them together and add them up, I get 13x. Okay? And there's a couple of different options for 6. This is going to be x and x because it's x squared, but it could be 1x and 6x, or it could be 2x and 3x. Over here, there's a couple of different choices for 28. It could be 1 and 28. It could be 2 and 14. It could be 4 and 7, and I think that's it. And one of these is going to be positive, and one of these is going to be negative because this is negative 28. One way that you can help yourself out with the number game is that pair of numbers that that we found earlier from first times last. Those are the numbers in these two boxes, negative 8x and 21x. That's how you're going to get 13. And knowing what these numbers are, it really limits your choices over here and your choices over here. Okay. For example, if I need two factors of 6, one of which goes into negative 8 and one of which goes into 21, it can only be 2 and 3. Over here, I need my factors of negative 28 have to go into negative 8 and positive 21, and that can only be 4 and 7, specifically negative 4 and 7. Okay? And then once you complete these 4 boxes, you go diagonal for your factors. 2x plus 7, 3x minus 4 equals 0. Okay, and then so here are your factors. Then each factor is its own little problem that you solve from there. I'm not going to go too much into those weeds. Okay. One last thing. The other factoring pattern that you're going to see is a difference of 2 squares. And if you see a difference of two squares, there's actually a couple of ways that you can tackle a problem like this. You could factor it. Remember, there's a pattern with a difference of two squares. It's the square root of each term, both times. One's a plus, one's a minus, and then you go from there. That's how you factor it. Okay? Or if this is x squared minus 16, this problem has a single x in a single place. I didn't have that in these other problems. All of these other problems had multiple x's in multiple places that I couldn't crunch down in, which is why we had to factor in the first place. This one has a single x in a single place. I can get that x, I can get that x by itself, for instance, adding 16 to both sides. Shoot, where's my eraser? There's my eraser. Adding 16 to both sides, and then taking square roots. X is plus or minus 4, which is the same answer that I would get over here. X is negative 4 and positive 4. Okay. So if you have a difference of 2 squares, you can factor it. You don't have to. Okay. That's all I got for now. Hopefully this was helpful, and you can continue on with the assignment for the day. Thanks, guys.